How's it going, YouTube? Nick here again with a lovely TAMAYURA deck profile. It's been a long time, a lot of playtesting, a lot of trial and errors, because unfortunately this deck is just not as strong as the other glitter decks. Starting off of set 11, me and BEO have unfortunately been playtesting this deck for way too much because we do not like Broken Toys as a card. Broken Toys is a good card, but unfortunately it suffers from bad card design, where it's not a fox art and it is not searchable. And because of that, I heavily discarded 3 out of the 4 copies, or 2 out of the 3 copies that I used to play.
He still plays it, guys. Don't unclick the video. He still plays it.
I'm not trying to say it's you know, it's not unplayable. It's just a card that you don't want to play, or you don't want to see in the late game. It's a card you want to see at best in the early game, because typically I just find myself discarding it for PG fodder in the late game, because it's just an extender. It's not really like anything else. There's just a better order, which you guys seen me show off before. But just to recap what this deck does, you have the grade 1, the grade 2, and the grade 3. The grade 0 doesn't really matter.
I think you have to play the grade 0, right?
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah, you have to play the grade 0.
So the grade 0 is 9-tailed fox spirit Tamayura. It's basic, you know, it's on going second ride, draw a card. The grade 1 is your best card in first searchability. In the Calm Sunlight Tamayura has an ability that when you write it on top of the grade 0, you can look at the top 7 and add 1 card that has Ririmi or Rarami in its card's name, or has fox art in the card text amongst it. The secondary effect is very beneficial for your ability to discard and reuse your hand. If you discard a Ririmi or Rarami for the cost to ride, you can always fetch it back from the drop. And then one of our beautiful Deepening Night Tamayura. She is the best grade 3 out of the 2 Tamayuras in my opinion, because she still gains the extra 5k to the front row at the beginning of your ride phase. And then on top of that, you get the CB1 to superior call anything from your soul, or you can superior call 2 cards as long as one has Ririmi in the card name and the other one has Rarami in the card name. As for that, that's going to be the ride line. We're going to start with the grade 3s because I want to show off what the new grade 3 does. Her name is Will+Dress Daybreak Tamayura. So she's very good. She makes your 3 CB turn a 2 CB at best, because her new ability is pretty free. It has an on-attack ability where it says, when this card attacks to Vanguard, you can bind the Deepening Night Tamayura from your soul to choose up to 2 cards with Ririmi and Rarami from your soul and superior call them, and they get plus 5k until the end of the turn. Sorry, until the end of the turn. But the caveat is, at the end of the turn, you have to superior ride Deepening Night Tamayura on top of the Will+Dress Daybreak as rested. And then it has a different ability for riding. So when you ride this on top of Deepening Night Tamayura, it lets you search the deck or drop for 1 order card, any order card, as long as it doesn't have Regales piece. And then you get to activate Persona Ride. So basically you get to have 2 cards for the price of 1 ride, especially because you get to search the best order, in my opinion, the Scarlet of Flattering Evanescent Life. Probably butchered that, but this card is, in my opinion, the best Tamayura order. The Blitz order grade 2 is not as good as it used to be. Unfortunately, the grade 2 Blitz order doesn't help you, because nowadays power creep is so powerful that minus 10k to the front row really doesn't matter, especially because everybody plays the front triggers. But what's nice is it allows you to do something that the deck suffers from, which is build a board, because everything typically goes into soul every time. So being able to build a board off of one card is phenomenal, especially because it costs nothing, because it's basically from the soul. When you activate this card, you can soul blast 2 cards, and then you can superior call 1 Rirumi or Rarumi from your drop zone. So basically, you want to superior call basically the grade 2s. The grade 2s will allow you to soul blast 2, which would be the grade 1s, and then that'll allow you to superior call the grade 1s for 2 CB. And then you get to have a full board, which is going to be 33s, then they're going to be 38s, and 38 and 43 for the next following attacks. I forgot to mention, this deck profile is going to be very different, because this deck can actually perform something that is very hard to achieve, which is 6 or even 7 attacks without the overtrigger. With the overtrigger, you could actually make 8 attacks with this deck. It will sound like cope. We all like cope, but it is possible.
It's pretty consistent. At least the 6 attacks is actually pretty consistent.
Yes.
And it's like it's an added push to where it's like, this Tamayura is good, but it really just felt like it just made your 5 attack turn cheaper. It didn't feel like it made your 5 attack turn more powerful, but with the promo card, you're able to just make a pretty consistent 6 attack combo that, you know, you're basically putting your opponent in a position where like they're throwing away cards they initially didn't want to throw away, or taking damage they initially didn't want to take.
Especially because if you pair it off with the attack columns of the counter charger, we'll talk about that more when we get to that card. But for right now, with the grade 3 lineups, this is what I decided to be. I wanted to maximize on the Will-O-Wisp Daybreak Tamayura, because you need to see it. This deck, unfortunately, even with running 4 copies, there will be times where I do not see this card. But that's going to be for the grade 3s. Now let's get to the grade 2s. We're going to start very simple. I know most people like to play 4. I still enjoy playing 3 of the Rirumi grade 2 and 3 of the Rarumi grade 2.
He's a genius.
I've been called a genius.
He's a genius
for this. So I feel like having 4 just clogs too much, unfortunately. This is a great card, but because you get to superior call them from anywhere, as long as you get to activate the order, you can always get them back. So having 3 and 3 just lets me have a little bit more deck flexibility. But you know, same effects as always. Rirumi lets you Soul Blast 2 if you have a Rarumi. Rear Guard to push one of your opponent's cards from Rear Guard Circle into Soul. And Rarumi lets me draw a card as long as Rirumi is on the board. And then they have the Glitter ability that if you guard with them, they go into the Soul, as long as your Vanguard has Glitter. And then this is the card that will enable 6, 7 attacks, even 8 if you really have them in the disposal to do it, because it's.
I think that's like freaking 6 counterblast cope, bro.
Yeah,
that's 6 counterblast cope.
It would cast, because this card states when it goes into soul, you can soul charge 1 and bind it. It can go from soul from anywhere, even from deck. You just bind it, and then you get the Soul Charger card, so it replaces itself, and then it has a secondary effect from the bind zone. When two rear guards go into the Soul at the same time, you can CB1 and call this card to an open rear guard circle. So the reason why this benefits the deck is because if you do the attack patterns right, on Persona Ride turn, this guy will be hitting for 30k, which is very good. If your opponent doesn't have a front row, they either take this 30k attacker, or they either use a front or a 15k and a 5. So because it gets to that 30k threshold, it's very beneficial, very strong. Don't know why I never really sought out this card. I always thought this card was just strictly for Shoujo Doji. I thought his ability was only for Shoujo Doji, but I guess not, as the text doesn't say anything for Shoujo Doji. But knowing this information, this card being able to enable 6 to 7 attacks, especially when this is the 3rd attack and your Vanguard is your 4th attack, it throws your opponent's guard patterns off. I am very satisfied with this card. We've been playtesting with it. and I feel like it does benefit more than I thought it would. And being able to do that 6 and 7 attack really matters, especially for your push turns, because this deck unfortunately doesn't have a very good or early game. It only has mainly late game pressure, because you can do early game but you'll lose your hand.
Would you say this card helps you close out the game?
It does, especially because that 6 attack might be exactly what I needed to beat my opponent. Now for the grade 1s, I'm going to start off with Broken Toys. I know you're gonna say, oh, but you know, you were trash talking Broken Toys. Yes, I was trash talking Broken Toys. You are not incorrect, but it's still something like a necessary evil, especially because you can search it. Speaking of searching, the new Tamayura can also search the Elementaria Sanctitude.
Yeah.
Because
from deck or drop.
From deck or drop, because it is not a Regalis piece. So this lets you get the ability to protect yourself from anything that has triple drive, or allows you to protect yourself from cards that have guard restrict, which is very helpful, especially because it's searchable. If you have already the grade 3 order in your hand, you can just search the the Sanctitude and just be able to survive longer, because this deck can build a really good hand. It's just mainly always going to be triggers, because that's typically what you end up drawing. Back to Broken Toys. Yes, Broken Toys is really good. It's just not a Fox art. It's not searchable. You have to hard draw it. Nothing in the deck lets you discard to your hand, other than the grade 3, but typically you want to search either Elementary Sanctitude or you want to search the grade 3 order. And then it has the ability that when you activate it, as long as your Vanguard is Tamayura, you get to search top 7 or drop, and you can add 1 Rirumi or Raurami from amongst those to the soul, and if you have 1 Rirumi and Raurami in the soul, you get to draw a card. So it builds your soul, it allows you to add Rirumi or Rauramis, but unfortunately it just doesn't do much more than that, and because of it I only play 1 of it. 3 PGs, obviously 4 with the Sanctitude, but 3 regular DPGs because they're way too good not to play. Being able to, if you are in a tight situation and not have a hand, being able to perfect guard is just too good for free.
Just being able to keep that 1 card combo piece matters a lot on the following turn.
Especially for if you have the Persona Ride and you don't have to discard it, which helps you even more. Or for survivability, you can have 2 of these in your hand and you can survive with it. We're going to start with the best grade 1 in my opinion. Stealth Fiend Forktail, which should have been Folktail, but it is the best card. It is the extender in the deck. It is what allows you to play this game a little bit faster. It allows you to deck thin. It lets you see triggers. It also enables your 6 and 7 attack, because since our Tsukuyodashi has stealth in the name, this card allows you to put it into soul. How? Well, on rearguard circle, you can look at the top 7 cards from the deck, and you can choose a card that has stealth or glitter from amongst them and put it into your soul. So this enables our beautiful promo here to either get this out of the on the bind zone as fast as possible, or it allows you to enable to get the dolls as fast as possible. Speaking of the dolls, we're gonna play 3 of the grade 1 Rirumi and 3 of the grade 1 Raurami. I know, again, it is 3 and 3.
Genius.
I am a genius, apparently, according to YouTube. So the grade 1s have a really good effect for anything. So basically, they have the ability that as long as you boost with it, whatever it boosts, or even if it only boosts the Vanguard, this and whatever it boosts a rear guard goes into soul, which is really good in the meta with we're having way more retire heavy formats. Being able to play hide and seek with my opponents, not letting them attack my Vanguard or my rear guards or target them for retire, really helps my deck, especially because they have an additional effect being, depending on who you soul charge. So if you soul charge the opposite, Re-Remi, if it soul charges the opposite, allows you to countercharge 1 if you haven't countercharged 1 for a Soul Blast that turn. And then Ra-Remi has the ability that if it pushes a Re-Remi, you give something 5k. So because of the attack pattern, you can get this guy to 30k on Persona Ride because off of Deepening Night and Daybreak, you'll have a plus 15 to the front row. And if you boosted Re-Remi with this Ra-Remi, you can give something 5k. So you give the promo grade 2 the additional 5, getting 20k. He's going to be 30k. Very strong. Especially because this deck makes it so that my counterblast turns are less. Especially if they're already in my hand. Being able to just CB1 and get what I need is just so much better. That's going to be for this. I will show you how the attack pattern will go at the end of the video. Let's go off to the triggers. Very simple. My trigger lineups are always the same. They never really change. They're always kind of be the generic 4 heals because unfortunately, you know, in this game, heals are just too good. They're too good. You can only play 4 of it. I've seen people in Japan play 3, which is weird. But hey, good for them, I guess.
He won, right?
He won. He got first place with
He won, right? He won.
He
can't talk shit, bro. He won.
Can't talk shit. Now we're gonna go for the crits. We play 8 crits. I like 8 crits. Again,
no into soul crit.
No into soul crit because I don't need it. This deck
doesn't need it.
This deck mainly always uses the same 4 cards to soul charge and soul blast. And now I have an additional card that soul charges, and now I have more cards that soul charge, being Broken Toys, being Fork Tail, and etc. etc. Basically, I have enough to soul that I never need more than what I already have. 3 fronts, which will be the same for almost all my Dragon Empire decks. I've been thinking about bumping this up to 4 fronts. The reason is because being able to on Persona Ride turn and with Tamayura's new ability, being able to swing for 43, 48, 53, 58 would be very strong, especially because of the front trigger, which I feel is so strong, very powerful. So
underrated
trigger. And lastly, but not least, the Dragon Empire OT. Unfortunately, the Dragon Empire OT in this deck doesn't work as much as it used to because the new Tamayura needs to bind the old Tamayura for you to get the multi-attack. But if you get to swing with the old Tamayura and you hit the OT, then you can get more than, actually by a full attack pattern, you can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks. So you can already have done 7 attacks. I actually did this to one of my opponents in Georgia's Springfest. Last time we did this deck profile, I went against Chronojet and I made sure to have one last CB and was able to give them the ability to push that final turn with a 7 attack combo. It doesn't always come up. It's a card that, you know, the OT is just a one-of. It's random when you're going to see it, so you never know when you're going to hit it. But that's basically about it for the trigger lineup. I just want to show off the attack patterns for you to get the maximized 6 to 7 attacks. So let me just get that out the way. So how it works is you have the additional 5k from the Vanguard. You Persona Road because of the ability, and I will be using dice to help out the situation. Vanguard ability at the beginning of the turn, you gain 5k. You the player, it's not when you ride you lose it, it's the player itself gets the ability. And then because of Persona, it'll be plus 15k. Then if you search the order, this, that, and the other,
it's deck or drop.
It's deck or drop. It doesn't really,
Is deck or drop?
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm talking about the order.
Oh, okay.
The order is only from drop.
Oh, okay.
Let's say you have, it doesn't really matter the way your CB is. I'm just using this as an example. And this is your CB, I mean your CB inverter, sorry. You should be losing. So you activate the order, and you have Superior Call, Rear Me and Rower Me. Use CB2. Sorry, these are not Dragon Empire. And then use CB2 because you probably Soul Blasted to draw a card. Use CB2 and Superior Call. Not one. Rear Me and Rower Me. You always have to have the opposite. So if you have Rear Me here, you have Rower Me here. If you have Rower Me here, you have Rear Me here. And then let's say you have 2 of these in the bind zone. You got them there somehow. Or even if you have 1. But for the time being, we'll show you with the 1. You have 1 in the bind zone. So this one is the counter charger, and this one is the one that gives 5k. You swing with this one first for the attack patterns, because this is going to go into the soul. And you're going to Soul Blast the 1 to counter charge 1 to make this combo work better.
That was 33.
33, yeah. So most of the time, the columns are always going to be 33. When this Vanguard one attacks, they'll be 38. So then, once the Rear and the Round Me go into Soul, you CB1 and you Superior Call this guy. Then you're going to swing for 33, and then this goes into the Soul. And because you sold the opposite, you give this 5k. So now this will be swinging for 30. Yes, you have to attack with this first before you attack with the Vanguard, because the Vanguard is going to get you a full board again. So once you do that, you get to swing with the Vanguard. This guy will be retired because you're going to Superior Call on top of it. So her effect will be you bind the old Tamayura from the Soul, and you Superior Call Rear Me and Rower Me, which, by the effect of the new Tamayura, will gain 5k, which then allows you to activate her effect or her effect to Soul Blast 2, CB2 more, and Superior Call. And then whatever you get off of this, these columns are now going to be 38 and 33. Now, if you had another one of these in the bind zone, this is how you would do the 7th attack.
38 and 43.
Sorry, yeah. Did I say 33 and 38?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. This one's gonna be 30. This one's gonna be 38, and this is gonna be 43. If you hit a trigger, always give it to the one that's not gonna gain the 5k. Unless you have the 7th attacker, then you give it to this one, because this one's gonna hit first. This will be 48 with a trigger. Same goes for this one. It's going to be 48 if you give it a trigger. If you hit a front, they're both going to be 48. If you hit a front, this will be 53 after this goes into Soul. And you're just hitting massive numbers, and you're swinging for really big numbers. The unfortunate reality of this is you have to get there. We're just in a game era where decks are way too fast. Decks are really fast, and this deck can be fast, but it also suffers from you need to see your pieces. You don't see your pieces, you're not doing much. So that's just a sad reality. But if you have 5 open rigor circles, you can do 7 attacks. Now again, if you hit the over trigger, you cannot do more than you can't do more than 7 attacks, because she doesn't let you Superior Call anything. So that's why this card comes in handy very much. But I hope you were able to learn from this.
So the 6 attack combo is 4 CB?
Yes, it's 5, but because you counter charge.
Okay. So for the 6 attack combo, it's 5 CB, and the 7 attack combo is 6 CB technically.
Yeah, but because the deck counter charges, and we're also talking about this if you didn't heal, this, that, and the other. It really matters. But you need to have, if you have full combo, you need to have minimum 4 open CB to do this full attack, 6 attack combo. But yeah, I hope you learned from this. If you like broken toys, good for you. Honestly, man. Sorry, I'm just not a fan of it. I spent a lot of money on this promo, and I always found myself not wanting to play it. But yeah, if you like the deck profile, you know, I encourage you to try it out. You know, deck test it. Try it with your friends. See if this card benefits you or not. But other than that, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one.
See you guys.